94% of first generation Indian Americans are in stable marriages. That is not a cultural talking point. That is from the Carnegie Endowment 2020 Indian American Attitudes Survey. 1,200 respondents, peer reviewed methodology, the most comprehensive study of Indian Americans ever conducted. But if you grew up Indian American, you already knew something was different about how your community approaches marriage. You just could not explain it. Because nobody talks about the actual process. Today, I'm going to walk you through how arranged marriage actually works in America in 2026. Not the Bollywood version, not the horror story version, the real version that plays out in kitchens and living rooms across New Jersey, the Bay Area, Dallas, and Chicago every single week. Let me start with the data, because the data tells a story that neither side of the debate wants to hear. 80% of Indian Americans have an Indian origin spouse. That is from the same Carnegie survey. Even among US born Indian Americans, 71% married someone of Indian origin. And 40% of US born Indian Americans married someone born in India. Not someone they met at a college party. Someone from a process. But here is where it gets interesting. Only a small percentage of these marriages were fully arranged in the traditional sense. Most fall into what researchers call the semi-arranged category. Parents introduce, the family network surfaces candidates, but the individual makes the final decision. The Cal State LA study by Regan and Lakhanpal found no significant differences in love or satisfaction between arranged and love-based marriages among Indian Americans. The sample was small, 58 participants, but it points to something real. The how matters less than the who. Here is what actually happens in most Indian American families. The parents have a list. They want someone from the same community, similar education level, good family background, ideally a professional, doctor, engineer, lawyer, tech. They have been building this list since you were 15. You just did not know it. The child also has a list. They want someone they find attractive, someone they can talk to for hours, someone who gets the dual identity thing, someone who does not make them feel like they are performing their culture. The negotiation is where these two lists meet. Sometimes it goes well. Your mom introduces you to someone and you actually like them. You tell your friends you met them through a friend of a friend. Everyone pretends it was organic. Sometimes it goes badly. Your dad sends your biodata to a family without asking. You find out when the other family calls your mom. You are furious. Your parents do not understand why you are upset. They were trying to help. This is the generational fault line. Not arranged versus love. It is consent versus control over the process itself. The data from Carnegie is clear. Second-generation Indian Americans are not rejecting arranged marriage. They are redefining it. 71% still marry someone of Indian origin, but only 40% marry someone born in India. The rest find someone from the community through a combination of family networks, community events, dating apps, and what I call strategic proximity. Living in neighborhoods with other Indian Americans, going to cultural events, joining organizations. Even the dating apps tell this story. Dilmil and Shaadi.com are essentially digitized biodata. You filter by religion, community, education, location. Your parents could have done the same thing with a phone book and a temple directory in 1992. The technology changed. The intent did not. Neither system works well on its own. Your parents screen for caste, income, profession, and family reputation. The same proxies that worked in Hyderabad in 1985 do not capture compatibility in 2026 New Jersey. Your dad cannot assess emotional intelligence from a biodata. Your mom cannot predict whether two people will still want to talk to each other at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday in year 7. But dating app algorithms are not better. They optimize for engagement, not for marriage. Hinge wants you to keep opening the app. Bumble wants you to keep swiping. Their business model depends on you being single. Neither parents nor algorithms are designed around what actually predicts a good marriage. Communication patterns, conflict style, shared values that you actually live by, not just list on a profile. We built Viva Ready because the process is what needs fixing. Not your parents, not you. Mutual matching. Both people say yes before any contact information is shared. You are not a biodata being forwarded without your knowledge.